or this specific tracks are not really academic or are not really theoretical. We try to align it with a job position. So today is our first session in the GRC Analyst position. We always work based on job description, okay? Because it's much easier to identify specific jobs based on the kind of activities that they are doing, instead of just explaining the concept in a very generic way. So GRC Analyst was one of the tracks that we always wanted to create a program for it, because this specific tracks is not technical at all. I mean, very, very few technicality need here, but most of the work will be related to the governance, risk, and compliance. So this is usually ideal for people who are looking for a position that is not technical at all. And I will go very briefly about the job description before starting to our first activity today. And also I'm going to explain to you how we're going to implement the practical part of it. I mean, I don't want to keep it just showing you document and telling you how it needs to be done, but I need you to get involved as well. Okay, this will include the activity for the GRC, and we may need also to include a GRC tool that you need to be familiar with. We not only need one GRC tool that we need to get ourselves familiar with, so you can write down in your CV that you know about the main skills of the GRC analyst, and in the same time you used this tool for a proof of concept. So this, as always, will be our commitment. Whatever is inside this document, this is exactly what we can do. And by the way, whatever we're going to practice here, our subject will be our own company, InfoSec for TC. So anything that we need to implement or a risk assessment that we need to conduct or to do a gap analysis, everything will be done on our own company, InfoSec for TC. So this will be our target or our use cases that we will use during this program. So as you can see, and I will let you read it yourself, I'm just going to go through some of the points. I keep saying it's not really a technical position. Please keep that in mind. Think as a GRC analyst, which is mainly related to understand what compliance are we following as a company, understand how can we implement governance, information security governance, because governance is a very, very generic word. Okay, there is information technology governance, there is information security governance. So we will be responsible to implement governance. We will be responsible for risk. And as you can see, this will be the first responsibility, which is conducting a risk assessment. It's one of your main responsibilities. We will have to dive deeper into risk assessment, how it's done. Is there any dependency of the type of the organization? I mean, if we conduct risk assessment in healthcare, is it different than a private company? Is it different than a government company? We have to be very, very familiar here. And keep in mind that we are not requested to do risk management policy. We just need to learn the risk assessment part. I mean, in the cybersecurity specialist, we do plan or we do provide risk management policy or framework. Here, no, we just conduct the vulnerability, the risk assessment. So this is going to be a common responsibility in the GRC analyst. However, it has to be done very comprehensive. That's why we will do around 6 risk assessment. Okay. So this is one of the skills that we will learn, how we conduct risk assessment. We have templates to be done, how to do that manually or using a tool. What is our responsibility? Who should do the mitigation? How can we monitor the risk? There is a lot of discussion here. Then, and this is what we're going to start with today, is related to implementing the governance. Okay. Your responsibility is implementing the governance. And I will give you a brief about the governance in a few minutes. But just to let you know, governance is to align with the company's strategic objective. Okay, we're going to explain that in example in a few minutes, but just to understand that information security or the GRC analyst has to make sure that you are aligning with the strategic organization objective. Okay, so this is something that we will do, and honestly, it's not that hard to be done. It just, let's say, paperwork. I mean, you know, how can we do a gap assessment? How can we get the management involved in the information security? How can we do policy and procedures? This is not a problem because this is all documentation. The main challenge is the enforcement of the governance. So creating the governance will not be a problem. It's really a step-by-step guide. But how can we enforce that inside organizations? This is how we will learn. Then we will learn audit. And this is a major responsibility of yours, how to audit information security or governance in any organization. Okay, we will learn audit in a very, very deep way. It's not complicated, you know, it's something that you get mature while you are doing it. So how can I audit an information security management system? Is this, you know, like an organized process or a process that needs to be done suddenly to identify any missing control or something like that? What is my methodology when it comes to audit? And how can we audit business department and how can we audit technical department? Now, just to let you know, guys, from the job description, you are only responsible to audit the business department. However, I will give you how to audit the technical department as well. But it's quite common in organization that they will do the business audit, information security, but for business, and then they will get someone else to do the technical audit. But we will cover both of them. Okay. So this is the audit part that you need to practice, and I will share with you tons of audit finding in different reports, so you can have your own style when it comes to audit. Okay. Of course, there is some activity related to dealing with organization. It all depends. I mean, I feel that the first three elements are the most important element for you. But based on those three elements, you're going to have to communicate with different departments to follow up with the risk closure, to follow up with governance implementation. So this will involve, you know, communicating with department to make sure that everything is going well. You will have also to monitor the risk. So you don't just do the risk assessment, but you also are responsible to monitor the risk. You will have, or you will know how to create KPIs to measure the effectiveness of the control. So monitoring also is part of our responsibility. Okay. This is all, you know, communicating with the department, communicating with the team. You have to be also aware of the latest trends, the threats, activity. It's quite simple, but as you can see, the job description of the job of this GRC analyst is not that complicated, and it's all depend on the first three elements. Okay, then here is your requirement, and this is very, very important. Most of the GRC analysts don't request much of year of experience, because mainly it's not really something that you gain by time. You also, of course, you fine tune your skills by time, but you know, 1 or 2 years of experience working in this field will be more than enough. So consider the programs that we are taking together. It's part of this experience. But this is good about GRC analysts, that we don't need much of experience. And this is the real job description, by the way, to be able to find a good opportunity in that. Okay. Now, regarding the degree, honestly speaking, from my experience, it's not really mandatory. I mean, if you hold a degree that is not in IT or computer science, it's not really something that will be affecting finding a job or not. What will affect will be the professional certificate. You need to get 1 or 2 professional certificate related to standard like CISA, CISM, CISSP, one of those certificates. The more you get, it's much better for you. So this is usually replace the academic degree, because honestly speaking, you may get your degree from your own country, which could not have a big value in a different country where you are working. So we put that in the job description just to complete fields. But realistically, I never attended an interview where they ask what kind of degree the candidate have. So it's not really a problem, okay? What is the requirement? The things that we need to get familiar during this session is, number 1, you have to be very comfortable with the standard. All your business is based on standard, and we're going to see that today. So you have to read about different standards, GDPR, HIPAA, because this is mainly your responsibility to make sure the standard is implemented. Okay, and the more you know about standard, the more valuable you become to the business. But if you only know about, for example, ISO, you have no idea about GDPR, you have no idea about HIPAA, NIST, it will limit your chances to find a job. So as you can see, I kept it here highlighted in yellow because this is very, very important. Okay. Also, you have to be familiar with risk. Now, I'm sure that you're gonna risk and audit. I told you those are the 3 elements of the training. Risk, it's not really hard to do it. And we're gonna use tools, and tools already has pre-configured information. So it's not that complicated. Some people think about risk management that it's a very, very huge subject. It's not. But the thing is, you have to be aware of the methodology. There is, for example, the ISO risk management 27005, there is NIST, there is ISACA. So you have to be familiar with more than one standard. And this terminology standard need to be on your mouth all the time. I'm working according to which standard? I'm implementing GDPR. I'm working according to NIST standard. I'm working according to ISACA standard. You have to refer or justify anything that you are doing related to standard. Okay. So this is briefly what we're going to do. And this course will not be a long one. It will be 10 sessions. We may add more if we need to have more use cases. But as a knowledge, it's very comprehensive, and it's not technical, and it's mainly based on the common sense. This is the right word, okay? And the good thing about GRC Analyst, he's not doing anything based on his opinion. He's just referring or applying the standard. That's it, okay? So this will be our commitment or our constitution, as I always say. So whatever is written here, this is what you need to end up writing in your CV.